Welcome to Present Poetry, a podcast where we sit back, relax, and enjoy some poets of the past and present. I'm your host, Erin Crittenden, and before we get started on this week's episode, I want to remind you that all of the material used in this podcast is either public domain or used with permission from the author or the author's estate. It's a fun time for all ages, so sit back, relax, and get ready to hear this week's featured poet. This week's featured poet is Emily Farris. Emily Farris is a current student at Northeastern State University in Tahlequah and is majoring in psychology with a minor in creative writing. Literature has been one of her biggest passions ever since she was a kid, and she hopes to one day publish her works. We are reading from one of her unpublished collections, which she lovingly titled A Mixtape of Collected Personal Poetry. This poem is called Astray. I have lived 1,000 lives, died 1,000 deaths. I have been both hero and villain alike. I've been both the helpless mortal and the tragic evil. I close my eyes and see 1,000 lands I have occupied. I smell the endless summer and the musk of the pine forest, taste the salt of the oceans, and feel the chill of the snow-capped mountains. I have been both human and monster, and the mysterious supernatural. I have lived 1,000 lives, died 1,000 deaths. I feel so ancient, vintage, and forgotten from the inside out, but I'm just like you, young and rebellious. Head full of melted chocolate curls, hazel eyes that reflect my sorrows. Afraid of the next step, afraid of not taking that step, content in this prison. Restless is my aching heart. Being young and wanderlust has never been so agitating. Harder to breathe when alone. Iced coffee and bubblegum wrappers litter the floor. A leather journal and a pile of vivid books. For the only way I will ever truly escape is by the 1,000 words I keep on my shelves. This poem is called A Drizzly March. The rain poured down in streaks against car windows. My breath turned into clouds of vapors against the air. My hands wrap around a hot mug while the smell of freshly brewed coffee and cinnamon fill the atmosphere. My dark hair whips around like gossamer, the muted browns of nature slowly turning a vivid green. A drizzly March day fills my lungs with serenity. A drizzly March day that consists of a sense of liminal. A quiet small town with brick buildings and vehicles that softly go to and fro. A local library filled to the brim with books, a perfect way to spend this day. Thick hardbacks and picturesque comic books, the sound of typing keyboards and hushed conversations. This drizzly March day becomes embedded in my mind like a distant dream. Something softly there, but untouchable, unattainable. Warm sweaters and dark mornings, nostalgia, distant thunder and rain that smells of the coming spring, as if Persephone has kissed the dried earth. On this drizzly March day, the earth awakens to a newly found purpose. This poem is called Refuge. I take refuge in the night, the coolness of the sheet against my bare legs. The fan whirls quickly, and the soft glow of the moon between the blinds. A low and soft sigh escapes my lips. My worries and anxiety melt away as my body relaxes in the duvet. I used to be afraid of the dark, but as I grew older, it became a gentle and humble friend. The stars promise a distant but illuminate future. Sometimes I read thick novels to survive the day, but at night I dream. I find refuge in the small things in life. As people rush through their day, busy streets are noisy with the sounds of life. It can drain a person to the very marrow. I like to slow down and enjoy the little things, even though it can be hard. The letters of the clock blur around the edges as my eyes grow heavy, yet I do not care. It seems almost whimsical. Dark curls frame my face, as do the pillows. I love the night, a gentle reminder of slowing down and the importance of it. Then, and only then, does the sober moon remind us that life is about breathing and taking it one step at a time to appreciate the small things. This poem is called Flavorful. You taste and smell just like caramel. Your honey brown hair catches the sunlight, your eyes a bright blue with swirling gray and green. I haven't ever laid my eyes on a more beautiful soul. I fell in love with all parts of you, even the parts you see as unfit. Your smile is addicting, your kisses forever stained upon my lips, upon my soul. You will always be tangled in my soul, always and forever, until time stops, and then when it begins again. I have lived 1,000 lives stuck in between the ink-stained pages of books. I was alone with my own mind. I thought I was satisfied. Emotions have always scared me. Logic saved me. Or so I thought. Until I met you. My world then burst with flavor, with colors of the unimaginable. It's beautifully breathtaking. You were what I was missing in my life, even when I didn't know you. We were always passing through time together, subconsciously. We were so close to each other, but so far. The Time Master knew what he was doing, carefully crafting the perfect moment for us to reconnect. I have always loved you in all the lifetimes before, currently and present. You inspire me and healed me in ways I can't begin to comprehend. The soft glow of the light slowly filters through the blue blackish curtains. Your smile in the dark as your arms wrap around me in a comforting manner. I have found home in between your arms, a home I didn't know until I met you. It has always been you. This poem is called Reminder. It wasn't always like this. The soft hum of empty silence. The sound of quiet hangs so heavily in the air it makes me breathless. The warm and gentle light that filters above the train ceiling is comforting and terrifying. Because something like this, a bullet train that sped through tunnels of giant cities, that has seen everything to everyone, has experienced all sorts of weather patterns from snow to pouring rain, could crumble, decay, and be overthrown with vegetation. It shows the very essence of human fragility. The human population has been wiped clean over half from a nuclear war a few years ago, and Mother Earth is slowly taking over again, claiming her rightful place in society, where she wanted to belong, but became repressed, rejected, and underappreciated. And now she's back, showing us the beauty of what we have destroyed and what we never got to truly experience. Nature at its fullest and most vengeful. Tall skyscrapers that glisten in the moonlight of 1,000 blinking lights now stand forgotten under all the mess of vines and moss. It stands as a reminder of what the past looked like and what our future might hold. A rebirth, a renewal for both humanity and nature. Maybe this time it will be a balanced relationship between the two, and not a constant war of struggled control and power. We must always be reminded of what we currently have, before it becomes only distant, nostalgic, hazy memories of the past. This poem is called Tranquility. The branches of the trees blend into the sky like melted chocolate. The darkened sky casts lazy shadows upon the quiet campus life. At night, I hear the campus come alive, or at least that is the myth. There are rumors of loud music and even louder cars, glass stained from last night's wine and whiskey. The smell of careless youth hangs in the air of small bricked houses. Those houses only built for one purpose, or at least that is the rumor. But at last, I only ponder these thoughts that become a slow stream of consciousness on paper. because I seek more than just materialistic things in life, but instead a deeper philosophy of life, of two souls coming together as if they have known one another for centuries, of quiet little mornings of soft jazz and strong coffee, or soft kisses and moonlight, of the pursuit of knowledge and altruism. For instead, you will find me in a small blue-hued apartment filled with blinking fairy lights, fake vines, and overstuffed bookshelves. The smell of freshly brewed black tea fills the atmosphere with a sense of peace and tranquility. A mess of curls and ink-stained fingers, complacent, one might say. One might even call her a madwoman, a genius, or a poet. Or so the rumor goes. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Present Poetry Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, feel free to like us, leave a review, or share us on social media. If you are a poet or you know someone who is, we would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us or submit your work through our website, which is www.present-poetry.com. Again, that is www.present-poetry.com. We can't wait to hear from you.